Unfortunately, all those who cultivated heavenly secret arts had strong mental power. Su Jingxing's counterattack would at most damage the other party's mind. If he wanted to kill his opponent with a counterattack, his soul power had to be several times stronger, and his essence soul had to be in the soul fixation stage. Given the current situation, Su Jingxing had to continue working hard. Putting the secret spying aside, the threat of Niu Chu's martial sage was the most important. Raising his physical strength to match the level of Niu Chu's martial sage within 7 days would be unrealistic. It was also impossible for the essence soul to advance to the 9th class of void soul in one go. His only hope was the black flame caves that blood doppelganger was heading to. The Wei family's ancestors had clearly stated that there was a huge opportunity in the black flame caves. The soul return stone needed to forge the kingdom-defending jade seal was also inside. If I take this opportunity to obtain both the soul return stone and a heaven-defying killing attribute treasure, will I be able to draw with Niu Chu's martial sage? North of Yu Nation was Hong Nation, and north of Hong Nation was Yu Nation. At this moment, at the border of Yu Nation, on the peak of a mountain about 800 meters tall, Su Jingxing's blood doppelganger, which had transformed into human form, looked at a mountain range of 100-meter-tall peaks shrouded in black and red mist at the end of the vast land ahead. It clenched its fists. After traveling day and night, it arrived at the Black Flame Caves. Su Jingxing's main body had checked the Black Flame Caves online. All he knew was that it was one of the infamous perilous lands in the eastern continent. Whether it was ordinary people or martial artists, no one ever came out after entering. Even experts in the top ranks rarely did. On the last page of the 9 Steps Trampling Heaven's Secret Manual, there was a passage in the records left behind by the Wei family's ancestors that introduced the Black Flame Caves. Firstly, one had to pass through the Red Fog Sea to enter the Black Flame Caves. This fog sea that covered hundreds of kilometers and shrouded the mountain range and filled the sky and ground was actually a terrifying miasma caused by the leakage of the fire poison from the Black Flame Caves. The protective true energy of ordinary martial artists in the middle ranks would corrode and break apart in less than 10 seconds. The protective true essence of a martial artist in the top ranks was slightly better. It could last for more than 10 minutes. As for the gas masks and protective suits made using technological means, Su Jingxing had never tried them on before and didn't know what it would be like. But they would probably only last for a few minutes. In the introduction left behind by the Wei family's ancestors, the fire poison of the Black Flame Caves was extremely terrifying and corrosive. Only a divine embryo could last more than an hour. Although the corrosive power of the miasma caused by the leaked fire poison had decreased, it was still terrifying. However, be it miasma or fire poison, their effects on the blood doppelganger were limited. The blood doppelganger was an energy body with astonishing defense to begin with. Passing through the fog sea formed by the miasma, the blood doppelganger had already left before the corrosion began. In one breath, it quickly passed through the fog sea and paused before entering one of the pitch-black caves. Black Flame Caves. Apart from the fearsome fire poison, the densely packed and winding caves were also one of the sources of its name. At this moment, in front of Su Jingxing's blood doppelganger, more than 10 cave entrances of various sizes appeared on the 100-meter-tall pitch-black mountain wall. Su Jingxing didn't pay attention to how many entrances there were in the areas on both sides that had disappeared into the fog sea. In the records left behind by the Wei family's ancestors, the second stage was how to choose an entrance. The entrance was related to the extent of danger faced after entering the cave. If he was unlucky and chose a cave filled with black flames, he wouldn't even have time to escape. Other than the source of the fire poison and the strange black flames, there were also some human-eating monsters and powerful mutated beasts in the caves. If he was unlucky and bumped into them, he would not be able to escape death either. Therefore, Su Jingxing controlled the blood doppelganger to operate the 6 comets records to divine which entrance was the least threatening. After confirming, he entered the cave and continued to divine the approximate location of the soul return stone. There were too many caves in Black Flame Caves. At the end of a passageway, there would be 5, 6, 7, or even a dozen new passageways. Walking around blindly would only lead to eventually getting lost in the dense caves. With a general direction, there was no need to be afraid of taking the wrong way. At the same time, Su Jingxing's blood doppelganger paid attention to any treasures that it might encounter on the way, especially those that could advance a first-grade martial artist to the transcendent grade. A blue liquid with a red glow. The name was unknown, but he knew that this blue liquid with a red glow contained incredible energy. Su Jingxing controlled his blood doppelganger to avoid the strange black flames and pass through the passageways filled with fire poison to search for the blue liquid with a red glow. Unfortunately, after moving deeper, walking for about 5 miles, he still did not see any blue liquid with a red glow. The location of the soul return stone was still far away in the depths. In the records left behind by the Wei family's ancestors, there was a kind of rock monster in the Black Flame Caves. The blood doppelganger had not encountered it. Instead, it encountered 3 groups of a type of bat that absorbed fire poison. Every time a group of bats discovered the blood doppelganger, they would immediately pounce over. Su Jingxing controlled the blood doppelganger to release its blood energy and blast them apart. Muffled thuds sounded in the passageway. All 3 batches of bats died, but not a single card was extracted. Clearly, these bats were not mutated beasts. Following the guidance of the heavenly secret arts, the blood doppelganger continued deeper. After walking for another 3 to 4 miles, it entered an exceptionally spacious cave. As soon as the blood doppelganger stepped in, Su Jingxing's heart skipped a beat. Stopping in its tracks, it saw a scaleless black python as thick as a water tank slowly raising its triangular head from a towering stone pillar. 1, 2, 3. In the end, 8 heads rose into the air and surrounded the black body. An 8-headed giant python. This 8-headed giant python that exuded a cold and evil aura was definitely a mutated beast. Su Jingxing controlled his blood doppelganger to retreat and circle around the cave. Swoosh! One of the heads of the 8-headed giant python suddenly spat out a stream of black gas that headed straight for the blood doppelganger. It was extremely fast. As soon as the blood doppelganger moved to dodge, it was struck and pierced through the abdomen. A scorching aura immediately surged from the wound and rose. Su Jingxing mobilized a large amount of blood energy to wrap around this small ball of aura and expel it. Then, he wrapped its fists in blood energy and released it from a distance. Boom! 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 The air tore apart with a series of explosions. Since the 8-headed giant python wanted to die, Su Jingxing would fulfill its wish. The blood energy fist imprints soared into the air, and its speed also soared to the fastest. One punch after another struck the thick body of the 8-headed giant python. Its scaleless body was directly penetrated with multiple wounds. TSS. Roar. In pain, the 8-headed giant python roared and twisted its body, pouncing towards the blood doppelganger. The 8 heads opened their mouths at the same time and spat out black gas. Su Jingxing, who was already prepared, controlled his blood doppelganger to shrink into a small ball and dodge keenly. When the 8-headed giant python rushed in front of it in shock, the blood doppelganger suddenly enlarged. It grabbed the tail with both hands and swung it quickly, picking up the 8-headed giant python and smashing it onto the ground and stone walls. Bang! 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 The ground shook and gravel fell from the stone walls. The blood doppelganger kept swinging and throwing, causing the 8 heads of the 8-headed giant python to roar angrily and spew black gas. However, it could not break free no matter what and could not injure the blood doppelganger. Instead, it was thrown again and again, the head spinning. When Su Jingxing smashed the heads of 3 of the 8 heads in a row, the giant python stopped roaring. Its thick body was limp, at the mercy of the blood doppelganger. Su Jingxing sensed it, but didn't stop. He continued striking. At this moment, a black shadow suddenly rushed out from a corner and pounced towards the blood doppelganger. Who? Su Jingxing sensed it and controlled the blood doppelganger to swing the eight-headed giant python towards the black shadow. Bang! Whoosh! With a loud bang, the black shadow was sent flying and fell to the ground, turning into a pile of rocks. Rocks? Su Jingxing was stunned. The eight-headed giant python in his grip suddenly shook its tail and broke free. It swiftly slithered into the depths of the cave. Bang! A figure descended from the sky and landed where the eight-headed giant python was slithering towards. It stepped on the middle half of the eight-headed giant python's body, preventing it from escaping. Three of the snake heads immediately turned around and pounced at the figure. Bang! 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 With a series of dull thuds, the tall figure remained motionless. Instead, the three heads of the eight-headed giant python were dizzy from the collision. Who? 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 Black and red flames lit up. Under Su Jingxing's blood doppelganger's gaze, the rocks that he had shattered and scattered on the ground a second ago were wrapped in clusters of flames and reassembled into a body. A body made of rock. Rock fire fiend? Su Jingxing was surprised. According to the records left behind by the Wei family's ancestors, the most terrifying strange life form inside the Black Flame Caves, the rock fire fiend, had finally appeared. Rock fire fiends were a mysterious species that possessed both rock and fire abilities. Of course, they could also be called monsters. This was because they relied on their bodies of rocks to make their defense invincible. On the other hand, they were almost immortal as living entities. Even if they were reduced to rubble, they could be reassembled under the drive of the flames. When Su Jingxing first read about them, he thought it was an exaggeration. Now that he had seen one with his own eyes, he finally understood how powerful the rock fire fiend was. This thing could not be deduced using common sense. The human-shaped rock body had 2 hands and 2 feet. There was no mouth or nose on its head, but there was an outline of eyes. However, there were no eyeballs, and it was unknown how it could see. Could it be through perception? As Su Jingxing's blood doppelganger was in thought, the rock fire fiend that had finished reconstructing charged at it again. At the same time, the black and red flames on the body of the rock fire fiend that was stepping on the 8-headed giant python flickered, producing a strange suction force that covered the 8-headed giant python. Roar! The 8-headed giant python hissed in fear. Su Jingxing's blood doppelganger decisively shrunk into a ball and avoided the rock fire fiend's attack. It looked at the 8-headed python. The giant python that was incomparably ferocious a moment ago was now trembling all over. Streaks of translucent energy that was visible to the naked eye seeped out from its body and was absorbed by the rock fire fiend. Vitality? The rock fire fiend can absorb the vitality of other species? Su Jingxing was shocked. The blood doppelganger was not slow. It extracted the card from the 8-headed giant python that had died quickly and entered the cave. Thump! Thump! Behind it, a rock fire fiend was hot on its heels. This strange thing actually locked onto its prey through perception. Whether the blood doppelganger shrunk itself or not made no difference in its perception. Unless its perception was blocked out, the size of one's body would change nothing. Su Jingxing was at a loss. I've been targeted by the rock fire fiend and it's not letting up. What should I do now? Controlling his blood doppelganger to turn back into human form and take off, Su Jingxing began thinking of countermeasures. Although shrinking into a ball and dashing away was fast, it consumed a lot of mental energy. Running in human form consumed the blood doppelganger's strength. To the blood doppelganger's endless amount of strength, this expenditure was almost negligible. In any case, in the rock fire fiend's perception, size didn't matter, so Su Jingxing naturally returned it to human form. Rock fire fiends did not know fatigue, and there was no such thing as exhaustion. The blood doppelganger was similar. It could move for a long time. For this, the human and the monster began a long pursuit, passing through cave after cave. In order to shake off the rock fire fiend, Su Jingxing couldn't even be bothered with the soul return stone. He quickly deviated from the direction he had decided on. Until it entered a dark cave without any black flames, the running blood doppelganger suddenly did not hear any movements behind it. The rock fire fiend's rock body made a lot of noise when it ran. Now that the sound had suddenly vanished, the blood doppelganger sensed it and subconsciously turned to look behind. Through its unique field of vision, Su Jingxing saw that the rock fire fiend that had been chasing him a second ago was currently tied up by a few black and red vines and pulled towards the dark area on the left. The rock fire fiend struggled, tore, and released its terrifying absorption ability, but none of them worked. The huge rock body was forcefully tied up by the black and red vines and dragged towards the dark area on the left. Rustle! Rustle! A burst of red light suddenly bloomed from the dark area. Swish! The sound of lotus leaves opening up could be heard. Under the red light, the blood doppelganger saw a massive flower that was 2 stories tall appear. The entire flower stood in the center of the left area. It was completely black, and the huge petals, as they swayed, emitted clusters of black and red flames. Just like the rock fire fiend, this flower could actually emit flames. Moreover, Su Jingxing didn't know if it was an illusion, but this giant black flower gave him a feeling that it was alive. Not alive like plants, but like humans and animals. Whoosh! Red light bloomed and the giant flower swayed. The bound rock fire fiend was dragged to the foot of the giant flower by the vines. Then, a wide petal descended, wrapped around it and drowned it. Buzz! The air vibrated. A red light flashed. In less than 3 seconds, the giant flower opened its petals and a pile of sand-like powder poured out. The rock fire fiend's solid and heavy body was nowhere to be seen. It was actually instantly devoured by the giant flower and turned into dust with 0 sentience. Its almost immortal rock body lost its effect against the terrifying devouring power of the giant black flower. Seriously, everything is closely linked. Su Jingxing watched the entire process and sighed with emotion. The 8-headed giant python's vitality was absorbed by the rock fire fiend, and the rock fire fiend was devoured and turned into sand by the giant black flower. The dangers in the black flame caves were unimaginable. Su Jingxing shook his head and retracted his gaze. He controlled the blood doppelganger to shrink and quietly leave the cave. A second before it left, from the corner of its eye, the blood doppelganger saw a drop of blue liquid with a red glow slide down the petals of the giant black flower and fall to the ground, rolling like a pearl. The blood doppelganger suddenly stopped at the entrance of the cave, its gaze fixed on the bead of blue liquid with a red glow that was rolling on the ground. That's right, it was the blue liquid with a red glow. Found it. A treasure that could advance a first-grade martial artist to the transcendent grade had suddenly appeared before his eyes. Even though there was only 1 drop, the appearance of this 1 drop told Su Jingxing where it came from. The giant black flower. The giant black flower that could devour the rock fire fiend was actually the producer of the blue liquid with a red glow. The factory. Su Jingxing suppressed his excitement. The blood doppelganger stood rooted to the ground, as his mind raced. The blue liquid with a red glow was produced after the giant black flower swallowed a rock fire fiend. Does this mean that every drop of blue liquid with a red glow requires the black flower to devour a rock fire fiend? Or could devouring other species also produce the blue liquid with a red glow? Su Jingxing thought for a while. With a thought, he released a ball of blood energy and quietly approached the giant black flower. Although Su Jingxing already had an essence soul, he didn't mind obtaining a treasure like the blue liquid with a red glow now that he had encountered it. What if he needed it in the future? No one could say for sure. After all, the effect of the blue liquid with a red glow was too special and unbelievable. From the looks of it, the giant black flower treated the blue liquid with a red glow like excretion after it fell to the ground. It stopped paying attention to it. It shouldn't be a problem for Su Jingxing to take it away, right? In his vigilance, he released his blood energy and slowly approached the giant black flower. 50 meters, 30 meters, 10 meters, 5 meters. Closer, even closer. Just a second before the blood energy came into contact with the blue liquid with a red glow, eyes suddenly appeared on the petals of the motionless black flower facing the blood doppelganger. The pitch-black eyeballs and white sclera were crescent-shaped. Blinking, they were spread out on a few petals and stared at the blood doppelganger. At this moment, Su Jingxing felt his soul freeze. The blood doppelganger froze in place, and the blood energy also paused, not daring to even move an inch forward. Although there was no malice in the gazes, Su Jingxing was stunned. What kind of plant is this giant flower? It actually has eyes. And there was more than one eye. There were at least 3 eyes on each petal. The pitch-black pupils made one shiver. For a moment, the blood doppelganger did not move, nor did the giant black flower. It only blinked and stared at Su Jingxing, its eyes filled with curiosity. It was as if this was the first time it was seeing a life form like Su Jingxing's blood doppelganger and was puzzled and surprised. After sizing him up for a while, its gaze landed on the blue liquid with a red glow. It looked at the blue liquid with a red glow, then at the blood doppelganger, then back at the blue liquid with a red glow. Suddenly, the giant black flower controlled a flower vine and nudged the blue liquid with a red glow. It sent the pearl-like liquid rolling and touched the blood energy that had stopped in front of it. Su Jingxing witnessed the entire process. In his shock, he subconsciously controlled the blood energy to wrap around the blue liquid with a red glow. Then, he turned around and retreated with the blue liquid with a red glow. His speed soared to the maximum and the blood doppelganger broke into a run without any sense of direction. He passed through cave after cave. Moreover, they were not in a straight line. He all circled around to avoid being chased by the giant black flower. Who knew if this strange flower that even had eyes could move? Although the other party had no ill intentions and was mostly curious when it looked at the blood doppelganger. Su Jingxing's intuition sensed the terrifying power hidden in the giant black flower. There was no need for the blood doppelganger to attempt the vague threat. A drop of the blue liquid with a red glow meant nothing to the giant black flower too. After running for a few minutes and passing through more than 100 caves, Su Jingxing controlled the blood doppelganger to stop and carefully sense his surroundings. After confirming that there were no longer any threats and that the giant black flower was not giving chase, he slowed down slightly. The black flame caves was too big. One cave connected to another. With the blood doppelganger running recklessly, Su Jingxing completely lost his bearings. Simply put, he was lost. Fortunately, he had cultivated the heavenly secret art. Under the general guidance of the 6 comets records, the blood doppelganger continued to set off. It walked in caves that were sometimes dark and sometimes flickering with red light. This time, as Su Jingxing advanced, he released his perception and listened carefully to his surroundings. Previously, when the giant black flower was lying in ambush in the darkness, it had not been discovered. Even though this strange flower had almost no aura, no heartbeat, and no breathing, that Su Jingxing subconsciously ignored it, but if one were to sense it slightly, they would still be able to discover some abnormalities. After learning his lesson, Su Jingxing wouldn't make the same mistake again. The blood doppelganger was extremely vigilant as it advanced. Soon, Su Jingxing heard a soft sound coming from his right. He immediately controlled the blood doppelganger to curl up into a ball. The blue liquid with a red glow was also wrapped in mud to avoid attracting attention. The 2 orbs floated up and hid in a corner of the dome, listening to the sounds as they slowly approached. Tap tap tap. It sounded like rocks knocking together, but also like footsteps. The sound was getting closer and closer to the cave where the blood doppelganger was in. Card +1. A notification suddenly floated through his mind. Su Jingxing was surprised. There are corpses nearby. Tap. Tap. As the sound approached the cave, a black shadow came into view. Su Jingxing temporarily put away his curiosity and stared at the black shadow through his blood doppelganger. He could now confirm the sound from before. It was really footsteps. When the black shadow approached, Su Jingxing realized that it was a person. No, to be precise, it was a person in armor. His face could not be seen because his entire body was covered in black armor, even his palm and neck were not exposed. The entire black-armored man took light steps, covering 5 to 6 meters with each step. The blood doppelganger curled up into a ball and stuck to the dome as the black-armored man walked past below. Su Jingxing looked at him, but the black-armored man did not notice him. Just like that, he passed through and entered another cave. Tap tap tap. Su Jingxing only controlled the blood doppelganger to return to the ground when the footsteps were far away and could no longer be heard. He looked in the direction where the black-armored man had disappeared and pondered. When the black-armored man passed through from below, Su Jingxing sensed that he was the same as the giant black flower. There was no aura, breathing, or heartbeat. He was like a dead man. If it wasn't because he was walking. Wait. Abruptly, Su Jingxing was shocked and made the connection. Dead person. That's right, a dead person. Who said that dead people wouldn't walk? Earth Star is full of mysterious things. The Black Flame Caves had never been explored thoroughly by humans. The appearance of a black-armored man here was strange to begin with. If this black-armored man was a corpse, then the card he had extracted earlier could explain it. When a corpse was discovered, cards were automatically extracted. Su Jingxing couldn't be more familiar with this process. With this in mind, Su Jingxing's main body, who had remained in the U-Nation, opened his palm space and took out the last 2 function cards. One was extracted from the corpse of the 8-headed giant python, and the other had just been extracted. The one from the 8-headed giant python was unlocked first. It was a mutated beast after all. The attention-splitting card. What he extracted from the 8-headed giant python's corpse was actually a new card, the attention-splitting card. Its ability was very special, and it also surprised Su Jingxing. Attention-splitting, separating one's mind and attention. There was no need to expend anything else. Now, there were 3 wills to be controlled, Su Jingxing's main body, essence soul, and doppelganger. The essence soul was still fine. It was directly connected to the main body at the highest level, so there was no need to split his mind and attention to it. The blood doppelganger was different. Although the main body and the blood doppelganger could move at the same time, they could not be too focused. For example, fighting. Once the main body or the blood doppelganger were in battle, the other would need to be temporarily left alone to focus on controlling the one that was in battle. If both his main body and doppelganger were fighting at the same time, his mental and soul power would be expended very quickly. But now that he had the attention-splitting card, there was no need for that. After unlocking the attention-splitting card, the mysterious power that was directly augmented on Su Jingxing's mind and soul could allow Su Jingxing's main body, doppelganger, and even essence soul to fight at the same time without exhausting his mind. This ability was most likely the 8-headed giant python's talent. Now that Su Jingxing had obtained it, he would be able to split his attention to 8 places at most. It could be said that he had made a killing. In his excitement, Su Jingxing held the other card in his hand and read the description. The next second, he almost burst out laughing. The joy on his face could not be concealed. He had made a killing. The second card was the real deal. The soul-breaking card. This was the name of the second card. If he could gather 4 of them and unlock them at the same time, he would be able to obtain one shot of the ultimate skill, Spirit Annihilation. Spirit Annihilation, any living being with sentience could be killed. Including essence souls. That's right, spirit annihilation could injure or even kill an essence soul. Su Jingxing had found what he wanted most, something to counter Nu Chu's martial sage. All he had to do was obtain the spirit annihilation. As long as he prepared a few more shots, Su Jingxing would be able to easily deal with the meeting at Giant Shark Island in 7 days. At that time, even if he couldn't kill Nu Chu's martial sage Chu, he could still beat him back. Nu Chu's martial sage had been in the transcendent grade for at least 100 years. He probably had similar ultimate moves. Therefore, Su Jingxing didn't ask for much. He just wanted to beat him back or have their fight end in a draw. The 4 soul-breaking cards combined to form one shot of spirit annihilation. Let's go. At this moment, the soul return stone was no longer important. Collecting the soul-breaking cards was the key. At this thought, Su Jingxing unlocked the attention-splitting card and gained the ability to multitask. Then, the blood doppelganger turned around and chased after the distant black-armored man. If the location was unknown, he could deduce it through divination. It was very fast. The blood doppelganger heard footsteps again. It slowed down slightly and restrained its aura to the extreme. It then approached the black-armored man. No reaction. It continued to move closer, but there was still no reaction. It lost effectiveness. Didn't the soul-breaking card come from the black-armored man? Was it from other lifeforms that happened to die near the blood doppelganger earlier? Su Jingxing was puzzled. Of course, there was another possibility. If the black-armored man was a corpse, would there be no second time after extracting a card once? On second thought, that seemed to make sense. So far, Su Jingxing had not encountered a corpse that could be extracted twice. He had thought wrong. At this thought, Su Jingxing smiled awkwardly and stopped following the black-armored man. He turned around and returned the way he came. After walking for a distance, he could no longer hear anything. He circulated the 6 comets records to deduce the location of other black-armored men. The prerequisite for this divination was that there were other black-armored figures in the Black Flame Caves. If there was only one black-armored man, Su Jingxing's plan would fail. Fortunately, the results were good. There were other black-armored men in the Black Flame Caves, and there were more than one. Through the Heavenly Secrets art, he sensed that there were black-armored men in 5 locations. Excluding the one behind him, there were 4 other places where the black-armored men were. With joy, the blood doppelganger randomly chose one and rushed over. It shuttled through cave after cave. While maintaining its vigilant perception, the blood doppelganger increased its speed to the maximum. Just as it was approaching the area where the black-armored men were, the blood doppelganger suddenly stopped. Swish! A long black shadow suddenly shot through the air at lightning speed towards the blood doppelganger from the darkness on the left ahead. Pa thud! The long black shadow struck the air, producing a strange sound. The blood doppelganger twisted its body. Its energy body could transform however it wanted and easily dodge attacks. The sudden sneak attack allowed Su Jingxing to see what the long black shadow was. A tongue. A tongue like that of a toad or frog. The speed of the sneak attack was extremely fast. Before the attack, there was absolutely no reaction. Had it not been for the blood doppelganger's twisting and shifting, Su Jingxing would have been struck the moment he sensed the attack. After escaping this calamity, the blood doppelganger immediately condensed its blood energy and struck towards the darkness on the front left. Swoosh! A black shadow jumped out of the darkness. The blood energy missed and landed on the stone wall, producing a loud thud. Swish! Swish! The blood doppelganger did not move, but the black shadow abruptly pounced towards Su Jingxing. It was half the height of a human and had a bloated body, squatting on the ground. It was really a giant black frog. No, it wasn't completely black. There were light purple patches on the surface of the giant frog's body that flickered with the giant frog's heartbeat. Swish! The slender tongue extended again and attacked the blood doppelganger. However, this time, the blood doppelganger did not dodge. Instead, it charged forward to meet it. The power of the blood body gathered in its fists, and its body suddenly twisted into one strand. While looking extremely strange, it also caused the giant frog's tongue to miss. But the blood doppelganger's fist smashed onto the giant frog's head. Bang! With a dull thud, the giant frog spat out blood and white foam. Its entire body was sent flying. It retreated and crashed into the stone wall, producing a loud bang. The next second. Whoosh! Without stopping, the giant frog actually broke into a run and jumped backward. It was clearly huge, but there was no sound of it landing. Su Jingxing was hesitating whether to give chase. Swish! A blade beam suddenly flashed in the dim corner on the right side of the giant frog and flew past. Swish! Swish! Saber beam enveloped the giant frog, bringing with it a trail of blood. The giant frog continued to jump. There was a wound on its back. Although its body swayed, it did not stop. Swish! 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 In a dark corner, the saber beam flashed again. It chased after the giant frog and landed slash after slash on it again. The giant frog dodged, but it was useless. Through his blood doppelganger, Su Jingxing saw a fat man chasing after the giant frog. He held a kitchen knife in his hand and slashed out again and again. There was no aura on his body, nor was there any heartbeat or breathing. However, unlike the black-armored man, the man's body was covered in a light blue membrane. As he swung his saber, the light membrane flickered like the spots on the surface of the giant frog's body. Swish! 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 Saber light flashed and saber energy danced. The man chased after the giant frog and disappeared from sight. Su Jingxing stood rooted to the ground and pondered for a moment. He did not follow. For the other party to appear in Black Flame Caves with a treasure, not only was he powerful and in a high realm, his identity was probably not simple as well. Su Jingxing was certain that ordinary martial artists in the top ranks would never have a treasure that could conceal their aura to zero and allow them to move around Black Flame Caves for a long time. This fat man was clearly not simple. Su Jingxing's current target was the black-armored men. There was no need for him to get into a conflict with him. With this in mind, the blood doppelganger continued to circulate the 6 comets records to deduce the location of the black-armored men. Moments later, it passed through the caves, found another path, and moved swiftly following its directions. The Heavenly Secrets guidance could only provide a rough location, and it wouldn't affect it much if it was far away. When it was close, Su Jingxing slowed down his blood doppelganger and slowly found his way over. Soon, he saw a black-armored man walking in the cave from afar. Card +1. As expected, he extracted another card. Far away in the U-Nation, Su Jingxing's main body quickly took out the card and read the information. The next moment, he grinned and said, "I guessed right. The soul-breaking card comes from these black-armored men." The black-armored men were corpses. Although Su Jingxing didn't understand why they could walk, after confirming his guess and obtaining another soul-breaking card, Su Jingxing was satisfied. He had already obtained 2 of the 4 soul-breaking cards. Continue. With 2 more soul-breaking cards, he would be able to unlock 1 shot of spirit annihilation. Now that he had a target, he was even more motivated. The blood doppelganger turned around and circulated the 6 comets records to deduce the locations of the other black-armored men. After getting the outcome, it chose a direction and dashed into the darkness. When it passed through a cave. Swish! 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 A saber beam suddenly flashed through the passageway ahead. Accompanied by a dull thud, the head of the giant frog that Su Jingxing had just seen finally separated from its body. "Ha ha ha, finally. Ah, you're here too." It was the fat man from before. Standing beside the giant frog's corpse, excitement was written all over his face. When he discovered Su Jingxing's blood doppelganger, he did not panic or become wary. Instead, he greeted it like they were old friends. "Hey, friend, do you want some frog meat? The flesh of the shadow demon frog is quite delicious. Ever since I ate it once, I couldn't forget it. Look, I specially came here to hunt one. It was all thanks to you that I got the chance. For this, you have a share of this shadow demon frog's flesh. How about I cut it out for you?" The man with a round head, a round face, a round belly, and a round figure, who was in his 30s, looked at the blood doppelganger and gave a silly smile. "By the way, my name is Ouyang Chan. What's your name?" Su Jingxing remained silent. "Shadow demon frog." In order to get a bite of frog meat, he specially barged into the Black Flame Caves. This excuse is too lousy. Even if the flesh of the shadow demon frog is really incomparably delicious, almost no one would risk their lives for a bite of food. After all, how would they eat it if they were already dead? The blood doppelganger kept silent. The man named Ouyang Chan wasn't angry at all. He shrugged and spread his hands. "Since you don't want it, I won't stand on ceremony." With that, he cut off the giant frog's legs in front of Su Jingxing's blood doppelganger. The giant frog's upper body and head were left untouched on the ground. Su Jingxing, who had extracted a card, glanced at the giant frog's corpse without a change in countenance. Is this fellow really here to eat frog meat? The best part of frogs was indeed their 2 legs. "Alright, I've got the frog meat. Brother, I'll see next time if there's a chance." Waving his hand at Su Jingxing's blood doppelganger, Ouyang Chan carried the 2 frog legs and walked towards a cave on the right, disappearing from sight. He really left. Su Jingxing sensed carefully and realized that Ouyang Chan was really walking towards the caves in the distance with the frog legs. Alright, regardless of whether he really came to the Black Flame Caves to eat frog meat, since he had left, Su Jingxing no longer harped on it. After circling around the remains of the giant frog, Su Jingxing's blood doppelganger followed the guidance of the heavenly secrets and continued to shuttle through cave after cave, searching for the black-armored men. At the same time, Void World, U-Nation. Su Jingxing's essence soul had just brandished the wandering dragon saber to try cultivating the Heaven Origin volume of the 3 Origins saber art. The Heaven Origin saber was a mental attack that could be condensed using soul power alone. However, its lethality was limited. It could deal with low-level martial artists and ordinary void monsters, but it was difficult to kill stronger ones. Su Jingxing's essence soul had wanted to increase the power of the Heaven Origin saber through the Wandering Dragon saber, which was already a divine weapon. However, after experimenting for a while, the might of the Heaven Origin saber, which was a semi-soul skill, was almost concealed by the strength of the Wandering Dragon saber when released using it. It was not that the fusion had made it stronger, but that the power of the divine weapon, the Wandering Dragon saber had stopped and suppressed the might of the Heaven Origin volume of the 3 Origins saber art. As a result, Su Jingxing's essence soul had no choice but to give up on the Heaven Origin saber. The Wandering Dragon saber, a divine weapon, was now an independent entity with its own sentience. Sometimes, Su Jingxing's essence soul could even sense a wisp of consciousness appearing on it. If this consciousness were to grow stronger, it would undoubtedly become the Wandering Dragon saber's saber soul. With the saber soul, the Wandering Dragon saber would only become stronger and more incredible. It was rumored that ancient spirit weapons had their own souls and spirits. Su Jingxing didn't know about the existence of divine weapons before. Now that he had the Wandering Dragon saber, he couldn't help but suspect that the reason why ancient spirit weapons almost became extinct was because they were divine weapons to begin with and couldn't be seen with the naked eye. This guess was quite likely the case. The reason why ancient spirit weapons were passed down was because they were powerful. However, since more than 1,000 years ago, the ancient spirit weapons had never appeared again. Those that were exposed and possessed by humans were all blood spirit weapons. Ancient spirit weapons had disappeared for so long. If they were divine weapons, then everything could be explained. Of course, Su Jingxing didn't know the exact details. The era when the ancient spirit weapons appeared was too far away from him. It was enough as long as Su Jingxing's essence soul could hold on to the wandering dragon saber in his possession. The essence soul brandished its divine weapon and flashed. Just as it was about to stop, a malicious intent suddenly came from its left. Geographically, the left was the east side of the U-Nation, the direction of the sea. In the void world, in the dark area on the left, malice surged out. Not long after, a familiar monster emerged from the darkness. The hidden thunder dragon beard beast. Another hidden thunder dragon beard beast that could release a tornado emerged from the darkness. The moment Su Jingxing's essence soul saw the other party, it was delighted instead of angry. Good, perfect timing. After killing the hidden thunder dragon beard beast, and collecting 3 equipment cards, he would be able to obtain a thunder dragon bone armor. This was a defensive soul treasure. If Su Jingxing's essence soul was equipped, not only would he have a higher chance of defeating New Chu's martial sage, he would also save himself the worry of getting injured. Of course, he would only know how powerful the defense of the thunder dragon bone armor was after obtaining it. The most important thing now was to get rid of this hidden thunder dragon beard beast that had emerged from the darkness. The snake-like body left the darkness section by section. Its cold eyes never left Su Jingxing's essence soul after discovering it. Its gaze was fixed on Su Jingxing as it inched closer. Crack! An electric arc flashed, and lightning shot out from the sides of the hidden thunder dragon beard beast. It was exploring the void world. In the real world below the hidden thunder dragon beard beast, Su Jingxing's essence soul noticed that after the lightning shot out, the clouds in the sky immediately gathered and condensed into a ball. This snake-shaped monster had actually begun to trigger a tornado before it passed through the border membrane and entered reality. Swish! Swish! Opening sword eyes, the eyes of Su Jingxing's essence soul lit up as they shot towards the hidden thunder dragon beard beast. Rip! Rip! The hidden thunder dragon beard beast twisted its body and did not dodge at all, taking the blow head-on. Crack! Boom! Boom! In the real world below, thunder rumbled in the sky. In the void world, electric arcs coiled around the body of the hidden thunder dragon beard beast. Tanking the attack from sword eyes, it pounced towards Su Jingxing's essence soul. Pooh! A heaven-trampling elephant appeared out of thin air, running and stomping as it charged towards the hidden thunder dragon beard beast. Su Jingxing's essence soul held the wandering dragon saber and moved quickly, rounding to the side. The heaven-trampling elephant attracted the attention of the hidden thunder dragon beard beast. The essence soul seized the opportunity and attacked with the wandering dragon saber. This was Su Jingxing's plan. However, things did not go as smoothly as he had expected. When the heaven-trampling elephant rushed over to stop the hidden thunder dragon beard beast, it was swept away by the huge void beast's tail. Then, it opened its mouth and fired an invisible blast at the essence soul. Su Jingxing's essence soul was prepared and dodged in advance. Then, with the wandering dragon saber in hand, it pushed close again. The heaven-trampling elephant that was sent flying also recovered and charged at the hidden thunder dragon beard beast. Crack! Crack! Boom! Boom! Lightning bloomed and electric arcs danced. The hidden thunder dragon beard beast was wrapped in lightning, forcing Su Jingxing's essence soul to go close. The heaven-trampling elephant that charged over released clusters of lightning to attack. Pooh! The heaven-trampling elephant's body flashed. It withstood the lightning strike and did not dissipate immediately. Swish! Su Jingxing's essence soul also endured the stimulation of the electric arcs and leaped up. It swung the wandering dragon saber in midair and slashed at the hidden thunder dragon beard beast. With a ripping sound, it left a wound on the body of the beast. This was the first time the might of the divine weapon was revealed. Su Jingxing had relied on killing its way out from the inside the last time he killed a hidden thunder dragon beard beast. Sword eyes shone on the outside for a long while, but it was not injured. This time, the wandering dragon saber broke through the defense of the hidden thunder dragon beard beast with just one slash. Although the wound was not big, the effect of this slash surprised Su Jingxing. The essence soul landed on the ground and flashed quickly, avoiding the sweep by the beast's tail. Electric arcs wrapped around it. It flipped into the air again. Aiming at the wound with the wandering dragon saber, it released a swift slash. Roar! An angry roar suddenly sounded and reverberated through the void world. The second slash, which worsened the wound from the first, successfully enraged the hidden thunder dragon beard beast. The snake-shaped monster immediately increased its speed to shuttle and sweep around. It brushed past Su Jingxing's essence soul. Swish! 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 Su Jingxing's essence soul was straightforward. It brandished the wandering dragon saber and slashed in a circular motion around its body. Without targeting any direction, it spun itself and attacked in 360 degrees. The hidden thunder dragon beard beast happened to rush over and collided with the blade. PLKCH. 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 Crack. Crack. Boom boom boom. Saber beam, thunder, and electric arcs bloomed all together at once. Su Jingxing's essence soul endured the effects of lightning, and the wandering dragon saber in its hand left wounds on the body of the hidden thunder dragon beard beast. Swish! Swish! Light shot out from its sword eyes as it aimed at the wounds of the hidden thunder dragon beard beast and launched continuous attacks. The heaven-trampling elephant held on with its translucent body and stepped on the hidden thunder dragon beard beast, preventing it from moving. The wandering dragon saber in the essence soul's grip circulated the power of the divine weapon to the extreme, further deepening and widening the first wound of the hidden thunder dragon beard beast until it penetrated through and came out from the other side. Roar! The hidden thunder dragon beard beast's furious and agonized roars grew louder. Crack! Crack! More electric arcs wrapped around its body. Su Jingxing's essence soul was injured, but it did not let go. Enduring the pain, it gripped the wandering dragon saber tightly and injected soul power into it, activating the power of the divine weapon and sliced horizontally towards the head of the hidden thunder dragon beard beast. The entire process started from the abdomen and cut towards the head. This slash was like a disembowelment, slicing the hidden thunder dragon beard beast into two up till its head. Roar! Bang! With a final snarl from the hidden thunder dragon beard beast, the heaven-trampling elephant shattered and dissipated. Following closely behind, the hidden thunder dragon beard beast gradually faded. Card +1. A notification flashed. Su Jingxing's essence soul held the wandering dragon saber and half-knelt on the ground, enduring the pain in his essence soul body. His main body took out the card he had extracted from his palm space. Equipment card. Su Jingxing was not disappointed. After killing this hidden thunder dragon beard beast, he obtained the same equipment card again. 3 similar equipment cards would give the thunder dragon bone armor. He was only missing the last card. Of course, in his current state, if another hidden thunder dragon beard beast were to emerge from the darkness, Su Jingxing's essence soul would probably find it difficult to kill it. At most, it would repulse it. The lightning and thunder of the hidden thunder dragon beard beast were very strange. They were not ordinary heavenly lightning. Not only would it cause damage to Su Jingxing's essence soul body, there were even remnants of it. For a period of time, Su Jingxing's essence soul could no longer move its blade. He had to first remove and dissolve the strange lightning and thunder power in the essence soul's body before slowly recovering. With this in mind, Su Jingxing's essence soul broke down the 9 souls ring. The 9 rings were separated out and danced in the space to prevent other void world monsters from emerging again. Black Flame Caves. Su Jingxing's blood doppelganger followed the guidance of the heavenly secret arts and entered a cave filled with flames. This cave was several times brighter than the one Su Jingxing had passed through previously. On the ground, rock walls, and dome, there were fiery red rocks that emitted light and heat. Under this light, clusters of strange plants grew in the corners of the walls on both sides of the cave, and even on the dome. Resembling grass, yet not grass, resembling flowers, yet not flowers. Each plant was about half the height of a person, and there was no aura wrapped around them. Su Jingxing's blood doppelganger took a look and quickly passed through. The heavenly secret arts showed that a black-armored man was not far ahead. As long as it wasn't a critical situation, Su Jingxing's blood doppelganger wouldn't care about anything else. Although these plants... Suddenly, the eyes of the blood doppelganger lit up as it stared fixedly at the center of a plant. There was a shaped stone that Xia Tsangxuan had told him about. It reflected a milky white glow under the red light. Su Jingxing's blood doppelganger stared at the stone. Comparing it to Xia Tsangxuan's introduction, it carefully sensed the aura of the stone and the corners of its lips slowly curled up. Found it. Soul Return Stone. The fourth treasure that he had not deliberately searched for actually appeared before his eyes in such a pleasant surprise. The blood doppelganger was overjoyed. Chasing after the black-armored man and accidentally discovering the Soul Return Stone saved Su Jingxing most of the time. The Soul Return Stone was an important treasure for the forging of the kingdom-defending Jade Seal. The total amount had to be the size of an adult man's palm. The one in the center of the strange plants was clearly not enough. But it didn't matter. There were dozens of strange plants growing in this cave. Previously, Su Jingxing's blood doppelganger did not take a close look. It only caught a glimpse of a Soul Return Stone in the center from the corner of its eye. Now, it scanned carefully to sense for auras. Soon, it discovered that there were 3 small Soul Return Stones hidden inside 3 more strange plants. Su Jingxing's blood doppelganger immediately released its blood energy to retrieve the Soul Return Stones. Unexpectedly, as soon as it released its blood energy and approached the strange plants. Swish! 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 The dozens of strange plants that grew on the ground, the rock walls, and the domes suddenly left their original positions. Their not-so-dense roots were like legs as they scattered with the strange plants and Soul Return Stones. As they ran, they even made strange sounds. Su Jingxing's blood doppelganger took this in and was shocked. It could not help but speed up its collection. Like an arrow, the blood energy accurately struck the 4 strange plants that were escaping and scooped up the 4 Soul Return Stones hidden in the center of the plants. However, it was not enough. These 4 Soul Return Stones were not enough to forge the kingdom-defending Jade Seal. Therefore, Su Jingxing's blood doppelganger put away the Soul Return Stones and mobilized more blood energy to bombard the ground. Bang! Hoo! With a dull thud, a visible wave of air swept through the entire cave. The strange plants that were fleeing in all directions were immediately swept to the ground, producing strange sounds. The Soul Return Stones of various sizes hidden in the plants fell to the ground and rolled. Su Jingxing's blood doppelganger grinned. Controlling the release of blood energy, it collected every single one of the Soul Return Stones. Tap! 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 Light footsteps suddenly came from the cave ahead right then. The blood doppelganger quickly turned around and looked in the direction of the sound. Su Jingxing was slightly stunned when he got a clear look of his target. A donkey. An ordinary adult black donkey of ordinary size strolled briskly into the cave. On its honest face, its eyes blinked as it looked at Su Jingxing and then at the strange plants on the ground. Amidst the strange sounds, the latter quickly ran towards the black donkey and gathered together to hide behind it. Hee-haw! The black donkey wagged its tail and brayed at the blood doppelganger. Su Jingxing did not move. The black donkey blinked and did not move either. The strange sounds from the dozens of strange plants did not stop, as if they were complaining. Hee-haw. In the confrontation, the black donkey raised its front hooves again and brayed at the blood doppelganger. This time, the blood doppelganger retreated quietly. Hee-haw. The black donkey's cries became strange. However, it did not move forward or do anything else. It blinked and stared at the blood doppelganger as it retreated bit by bit. It left the cave and the passageway. While retreating, Su Jingxing kept his guard up against the black donkey. Be it its aura or appearance, this black donkey was extremely ordinary. But how could anything who could move freely in black flame caves be ordinary? To put it bluntly, the more ordinary the lifeforms in the black flame caves were, the more terrifying they were. Initially, Su Jingxing had wanted to take a strange plant with him to slowly study it. However, after this black donkey that seemed to be the backer of the strange plants appeared, Su Jingxing decisively gave up on the idea. Again, Su Jingxing wouldn't make a move rashly unless necessary. Under the black donkey's watch, the blood doppelganger left the cave and turned into another passageway. Then, it sped up and left at lightning speed. After leaving the area where the black donkey was, it then slowed down again. It released his blood energy and condensed sand and stones to wrap around the soul return stones of different sizes. Su Jingxing immediately relaxed now that he had gathered all 4 treasures needed for the kingdom-defending jade seal. Next was to extract the soul-breaking card. If he wanted to draw against New Chu's martial sage, he would need at least 3 shots of spirit annihilation. 1 shot of spirit annihilation required 4 soul-breaking cards. 3 shots equated to 12 cards. Su Jingxing only had 2 cards on hand, which meant that he needed 10 more. Extracted cards from 10 black-armored men. Repetition was not possible. Every black-armored man could only be extracted once. How many black-armored men were there? Su Jingxing didn't know. For now, he could only take things one step at a time. After resting for a while, the blood doppelganger circulated the 6 comets records to deduce the location of the black-armored men. After choosing a direction, Su Jingxing's blood doppelganger immediately rushed over. Following the vague guidance of the heavenly secret arts, it approached a black-armored man. It passed through cave after cave. It bypassed the area where the black donkey was and moved closer to a black-armored man. Card +1. From afar, it extracted a card. Su Jingxing took it out and read the information in his palm. It was a soul-breaking card. With the item in hand, the blood doppelganger quickly turned around and left. Retreating a distance, he circulated the 6 comets records again and divined the locations of the other black-armored men. Again, after selecting a location, the blood doppelganger dashed over the 4th, 5th, and 6th cards. When the blood doppelganger extracted 6 soul-breaking cards and walked into a cave on the way to the 7th, Su Jingxing's heart skipped a beat. Not good. As soon as he finished speaking. Bang! With a loud explosion, Su Jingxing's blood doppelganger exploded into countless pieces without any warning. No. The blood doppelganger was an energy body. With this explosion, it turned into a pool of liquid that splattered all over the ground. Hoo! Swish! Amidst the strange sounds, the blood doppelganger that had dissipated into liquid, the sand that wrapped around the soul return stones, and the pearls of blue liquid with a red glow were all sent flying out of the cave by an invisible repulsive force. After lying on the ground for a while, Su Jingxing controlled the liquid to condense into a human body. Putting away the soul return stones and the blue liquid with a red glow, Su Jingxing exhaled. Squeezing. There was a terrifying squeezing force in the cave. As soon as Su Jingxing's blood doppelganger entered, it was enveloped by a squeezing force that came from all directions. Under the terrifying force, Su Jingxing only had time to shout once before it exploded from the pressure. Fortunately, it was the blood doppelganger. If it had been his main body made of flesh and blood, he would have long died. There were no records of such power in the records left behind by the Wei family's ancestors. On second thought, the cave that Su Jingxing's blood doppelganger had gone to was already deep in the Black Flame Caves and nearing the center. The information about Black Flame Caves that the Wei family's ancestors had could not involve this R. Naturally, they would not know that there was a cave so dangerous that one would explode from the squeezing in less than 3 seconds. Su Jingxing thought back carefully. Even if his main body activated his transcendent body power, he wouldn't be able to withstand the sensation in this cave. Faced with this force, the only way was to take a detour. There were only 6 soul-breaking cards, and Su Jingxing didn't want to leave just like that. He took a long detour. The blood doppelganger came to the other side and approached the black-armored man's position. Who would have thought? Bang! A familiar explosion sounded. The blood doppelganger that had stepped into the cave was once again crushed into countless drops of liquid that splattered everywhere. Then, under the invisible repulsive force, it was lifted and flew out of the cave. Another explosion. After making a big detour, the cave it entered actually also contained the terrifying squeezing force. Su Jingxing, who was crushed the second time, frowned tightly. Although the pain from the explosion of the blood doppelganger was limited, without figuring out the reason, no matter how many detours it took, it would not be able to get close to the black-armored man. They are clearly in 2 different directions, separated by a large circle, so why is there still a terrifying squeezing force in the cave? Could it be that the periphery of the center of the Black Flame Caves is filled with this power? Any life form that enters this range will be squeezed and crushed. Su Jingxing's eyes flickered as he put away the soul return stones and the blue liquid with a red glow. He controlled the blood doppelganger to circle around again and stepped into another cave. However, this time, the moment he stepped in, he swiftly retreated. The entire process took less than 2 seconds. The information received made Su Jingxing frown. He had guessed right. There was also that frightening squeezing force in the cave. The center of the Black Flame Caves was filled with this force. He couldn't even get close, let alone enter. The location of the black-armored man that the heavenly secret arts had divined was in the center. Since he couldn't get close, he naturally couldn't extract the soul-breaking card. What should I do? Su Jingxing fell silent and fell into deep thought. Such power could not be countered using brute force. It was not a mechanism, a restriction, or an array formation. Breaking it by force was unrealistic and impossible. After much thought, he decided to wait for the black-armored man to come out on his own. After extracting 6 cards, Su Jingxing realized that these black-armored men had been moving around. The routes they took all started from the center and extended to the periphery of the Black Flame Caves. As if they were patrolling, they moved to and fro between the center and the outside. Su Jingxing had already extracted the previous 6. The remaining black-armored men returned to the center before he could get into contact with them. The black-armored men ignored the terrifying squeezing force. If Su Jingxing couldn't do it, he would wait outside. In any case, there were still 6 days before the banquet by New Chu's martial sage. Su Jingxing was not in a hurry. He made his decision. Su Jingxing controlled his blood doppelganger to stop taking detours and wait outside the cave. It waited for a day and night. The black-armored man finally appeared. Accompanied by familiar footsteps, he walked out of the center area of the Black Flame Caves and into the cave that was filled with the fearsome squeezing force. The squeezing force did not react to the black-armored man's entry. Su Jingxing controlled the blood doppelganger to curl up and hang from the dome. He watched as the black-armored man passed through the cave and walked into the distance. Card +1. A notification flashed. Soul-breaking card obtained. The blood doppelganger descended from the sky and returned to its human form before circling to the other caves. This black-armored man had already been extracted. If he wanted another card, he would have to change his target. As such, Su Jingxing moved to another position and continued to wait. Another day and night passed, and a new black-armored man arrived. He extracted a soul-breaking card, making a total of 8. He changed position and waited for another day and night. There were now a total of 9 soul-splitting cards. He repeated the process. But this time, Su Jingxing only waited halfway before he felt sleepy for no reason. I feel sleepy. I indeed have not slept for a few days. Now, I can't hold on anymore. No. Something is wrong. Su Jingxing suddenly sobered up. Before he could sense where the problem came from, his main body, who was flying in the air on Thunderbolt and returning to Qinghe City, quickly put away Thunderbolt and activated his transcendent body. As soon as his transcendent body was activated, his main body, blood doppelganger, and essence soul fell asleep at the same time. In his daze, Su Jingxing heard someone calling his name and reached out to stroke his forehead. It was a warm feeling, gentle, benevolent, and cozy. Subconsciously, Su Jingxing opened his eyes. What entered his sight was a smooth stone dome. He looked around. Stone slabs. No, they should be stones. There were walls made of stone on all 4 sides, and 2 thick boulders formed a wall. One side had a window, and the further in, a door. There was a curtain made of rattan hanging at the door, and the window was also covered by a curtain. Warm sunlight shone into the room through the gaps between the rattan, bringing warmth to this stone house that was empty except for a few beast skins hanging on the wall and a stone bed. Su Jingxing lay on the hard stone bed and looked around before sitting up. Then, he sensed the movements outside the house. Unexpectedly, his powerful perception had disappeared. No matter how hard Su Jingxing tried, his perception that could be released over a range of hundreds of meters did not react. There was no reaction even when he used his secret abilities. He circulated his soul power, no reaction. The same when he manifested his essence soul. And when he shrunk his blood doppelganger. True essence. True energy. After sensing his body for a moment, Su Jingxing looked at his palm in shock. It had become smaller. His arms and palms had all shrunk. He got out of bed and looked at himself. His entire being had become smaller too. Although he was small, he was very muscular. His arms, thighs, and chest were filled with muscles. What's going on? Su Jingxing was puzzled as he sensed the great strength in his body. He could sense that the essence soul and blood doppelganger were gone. Only his strong physique and shrunken body remained. And this spacious stone house. Puzzled, Su Jingxing walked to the door, pulled open the rattan curtain, and went outside. His pupils dilated the moment he stepped out. Stone house, stone house, stone house. On his left and right, as well as 30 meters ahead, were tall stone houses. The spacious ground was made of hard yellow soil. The hardness was completely from constant treading. In the sky, what shocked Su Jingxing the most was that there were 2 moons. It was clearly daytime, but the sun was hanging high in the sky. The 2 moons on its left and right respectively shone brightly. There were 2 moons in the sky and stone houses all over the ground. Not far away, there were burly men in beast skin with leaves wrapped around their bodies. They were extremely strong and nearly 2 meters tall. They were speaking strange words, but Su Jingxing could understand what they meant. All of this made Su Jingxing's mind go blank and his gaze blank. Did I transmigrate again? The essence soul and blood doppelganger were gone, and his body had shrunk. The others around him, including himself, were wearing beast skin and leaves. There were 2 moons and the sun in the sky. If this wasn't transmigration, then what was? The problem was that this transmigration was not what Su Jingxing wanted. It wasn't easy for him to cultivate to the third grade and obtain an essence soul by luck to become the U-Nation's new martial sage. In the end, without any warning, he transmigrated again and arrived at a suspected ancient. No, it was an even older period. In ancient times, Earth Star also only had one moon. Of course, it was also possible that this was not Earth Star but another planet. A brand new planet with life that was still in its desolate era. This body was very strong, but Su Jingxing would rather go back. In a day, he had lost everything he worked hard for. Su Jingxing wasn't happy at all about this new life. He wondered whether himself, his physical body and essence soul on Earth Star were. Hey, wait a minute. Suddenly, Su Jingxing's expression changed. He narrowed his eyes and sensed carefully. His physical body was still here. The essence soul was also present. He could still sense himself on Earth Star. I just don't know why I can't order him around. This feels like a dream. Yes, a dream. For a moment, Su Jingxing was jolted awake. He was stunned, enlightened, and shocked. He was dreaming. Right now, he was in a dream. The neighboring stone houses and the moons in the sky were all existences in his dream. And such dreams had a name called lucid dreams. As the name suggested, they were dreams when one was conscious. Sensing that he was dreaming and not transmigrated again, Su Jingxing heaved a sigh of relief. I've only waited in the Black Flame Caves for a few days and nights, but I'm already dreaming. And it's such a clear lucid dream. Are the mysteries of this Black Flame Caves really beyond imagination? I remember that before I fell asleep, I sensed something strange. My main body only had time to activate the transcendent body before I fell from the sky. I fell from a height of nearly 1,000 meters. In my transcendent body state, my physical body should be fine, right? Su Jingxing felt uneasy. Although he knew that he was dreaming, for some reason, he couldn't wake up. As a result, Su Jingxing was unaware of the situation with his main body. Falling from a height of nearly 1,000 meters, if it were anyone else, they would definitely be shattered to pieces. However, since Su Jingxing had activated a transcendent body that was mainly defensive, his condition was unknown. He might be fine, or he might have broken some limbs. Su Jingxing couldn't predict the outcome and could only watch helplessly. A lucid dream. If he couldn't wake up, all would be useless. Gui, you're awake. A strange tone sounded, but Su Jingxing understood what it meant. Suppressing his frustration, he looked up at the person who spoke. It was one of the 3 people he had seen walking over from afar. He was nearly 2 meters tall, revealing his upper body that was covered in muscles. His waist was wrapped in an unknown beast skin. His rough and resolute face was full of smiles. He looked at Su Jingxing and said with a smile, Gui, don't be shy. It's always like this on your first hunt. You were just being kicked unconscious by a rabbit. It's no big deal. Rabbit? Su Jingxing was bewildered. What rabbit is so powerful that it can knock someone out? Just as he was about to speak, his mouth opened by itself. I'm not shy. It was an accident that I fainted. The next time I see a rabbit, I'll definitely kill it. An absolutely Chinibyo tone came from Su Jingxing's. No, to be precise, it came from the young man that Su Jingxing had possessed. This lucid dream was very strange. Su Jingxing's consciousness had possessed this young man named Gui. Previously, the young man was the one leading the movements, listening, and feelings. Su Jingxing was just a bystander, watching the young man's every move. Just like playing a game, the young man's vision was Su Jingxing's vision. Su Jingxing hadn't noticed earlier, but now that the young man had spoken, he immediately realized. The dream he entered clearly belonged to this young man, Gui. Dream entering divine power. Su Jingxing was in thought. He couldn't speak, nor could he take control of himself. He could only be a bystander, following the young man, Gue. He walked as he walked, paused as he paused, and spoke as he spoke. Through the young man's vision, Su Jingxing learned where he was. The mountain-moving clan. A powerful tribe, everyone was a warrior with the strength of tens of thousands of caddies. It was said that the strongest clan leader could move mountains. Su Jingxing didn't know if this was an exaggeration or if it really existed. He only knew that the mountain-moving clan was indeed very powerful. They did not cultivate true energy, only the physical body. Every body could undergo several transformations, continuously strengthening, and strengthening. It could be said that every adult member of the mountain-moving clan had a transcendent body. Tens of thousands of caddies of strength wasn't even their average. 100,000 caddies was. Their opponents were behemoths, demons, gods, and devils. The world he was in had no name. It was only called the Grand Desolate. The vast wilderness was boundless. The gods and devils here were two powerful races. Demons were a strange and mutated species. Behemoths were even simpler. They were huge beasts. Although the rabbit that had knocked the young man out was indeed a rabbit, it was actually as big as a tiger. Its hind legs were shockingly strong. It could break boulders and giant trees, let alone knock people out. Also, through the young man's vision, Su Jingxing saw that every time before sunset, the mountain-moving clan's hunting team would bring back all kinds of huge prey. 10-meter-long pigs, 3-meter-tall chickens, 5-meter-tall cows. The flesh of all kinds of giant beasts contained extremely rich energy. The people of the mountain-moving clan, men, women, old, and young, mainly ate meat. Of course, after roasting them. Such a diet was naturally very nourishing, causing every clansman to have a strong physique and 10,000 caddies of strength. During Su Jingxing's possession of the young man, Gue, time was not continuous. Instead, it was jumpy. The first time he woke up, Gue was only 12 years old. At 12 years old, he had just met the criteria to go out to hunt. Then, when he woke up for the second time, Gue was already 15 years old. He had already become the new powerful warrior of the clan. His strength reached 150,000 kilograms and he was more than 2 meters tall. Through his vision, Su Jingxing followed the young man's steps, going out to fight and hunt. He killed giant beasts with his palm, tore apart gods and devils with his hands, and killed demons with his fists. When he woke up for the third time, Gue had become a middle-aged man. He was 30 years old and was a great leader of the mountain-moving clan. His status in the clan was second only to the clan leader. When he woke up for the fourth time, middle-aged Gue was about to die. In a war where more than 10 human tribes had joined forces to fight against the gods, Gue took 3 of them alone. He killed 2 generals and perished together with the third. The moment Gue died, Su Jingxing's consciousness recovered. The essence soul, main body, and blood doppelganger instantly sobered up. Ignoring the blood doppelganger, he first checked his main body to make sure that it was fine, then checked his essence soul. He mainly sensed the space within the U-Nation's territory in the Void World and only heaved a sigh of relief after confirming that no Void World monsters had appeared. When he checked his blood doppelganger again, he realized that he was still in the same spot, outside the cave. His main body checked the number of soul-breaking cards he had extracted. There were actually 12 of them. While he was asleep, not only did more black-armored men come out, there were also more than one of them. Of course, this was a good thing, and Su Jingxing couldn't be bothered to pursue the reason. The blood doppelganger put away the soul return stones, the blue liquid with a red glow, and circulated the 6 comets records to deduce the exit and leave the Black Flame Caves. The center area of the Black Flame Caves where the black-armored men was too strange. He fell asleep without any warning. His consciousness had even entered a strange dream. There was definitely something wrong here. With 12 soul-breaking cards, he could release 3 shots of spirit annihilation. Now that he had achieved his goal, Su Jingxing would not stay any longer. After the blood doppelganger left the Black Flame Caves, the Essence Soul continued to guard the Void World. Su Jingxing sized up his surroundings. He laid on the bed. The room was decorated warmly. It was daytime outside the window. Sunlight shone through the curtains and into the room, making one feel warm. Throwing off the blanket, Su Jingxing got up and looked out the window. Outside the house was a street. Pedestrians walked back and forth, and shops lined up on both sides. He released his perception. There was no one outside the room, but there was one downstairs. It was a young woman. Some of the people next door were watching television, while others were chatting. Further out, everyone was doing their own thing. Judging from the accent, this wasn't the Changyang prefecture. That's right. Su Jingxing remembered that before he fell asleep, his main body was rushing back to Changyang prefecture. Thunderbolt was put away in time and his transcendent body was activated. He fell from nearly 1,000 meters in the air. Now it seemed that the physique of a transcendent body was extraordinarily strong. From such a height, not only did he not break his arms or legs, he did not even suffer any internal injuries. He had appeared in the unknown room. Clearly, he had been saved. The person who saved him was most likely the young woman downstairs. It could be considered as saving his life. If the transcendent body was left in the wild, he wouldn't be afraid of being exposed to the elements. What he was afraid of was bad luck. If he was struck by a powerful move and bumped into a savage beast that was passing by, his transcendent body defense might not be able to defend against it. The ripping power of some savage beasts was extremely terrifying. It was not impossible for them to break through the transcendent body. Su Jingxing was very grateful that he could avoid these troubles. As he was thinking, a commotion suddenly came from downstairs. Su Jingxing listened for a moment and smiled. What a coincidence. Immediately, he turned around, walked to the door, opened it, and walked down the stairs. In such street buildings, the second levels were used as lodging while the first levels held shops. When Su Jingxing came down, the first thing he saw was a supermarket. It was medium-sized, but there were no customers at all. The commotion came from the entrance of the supermarket, where the cashier was. Su Jingxing walked over slowly. Soon, he saw 7 burly men surrounding a young woman who looked delicate, gentle, but tired. They were shouting non-stop. Let me tell you, there's a limit to Master Nine's patience. If you still don't return the money, you can dream on about continuing to run this supermarket. Little girl, don't think that just because you're pretty, you can keep owing money. Hee, it's fine if you don't want to return the money. Master Nine said that as long as you're willing to be his lover, he'll write off the loan. They were either threatening, teasing, or provoking. A group of people surrounded the young woman. All they had yet to do was get physical. The young woman's face alternated between flushed and pale. Her body trembled slightly and her eyes were red. The people watching from the shops on the left and right secretly sized them up, but no one came forward to help. Firstly, they were deterred by the group's might. Secondly, they were being wise for personal survival. Not many people were willing to interfere in such matters. Su Jingxing didn't make much noise when he walked over, but he still attracted the attention of a few people. Ha, someone still dares to buy things here. A man with a buzz cut cocked his head and surveyed Su Jingxing. As he spoke, he took a few steps forward, wanting to push him. *OT, you're quite bold. Pa! The slap was loud and clear, echoing in the supermarket. The man with the buzz cut stopped talking abruptly. He spun on the spot twice and fell to the ground with a thud, unconscious. Even so, half of his face became swollen like a pig's head. Silence fell inside and outside the supermarket. Everyone's gazes fell on Su Jingxing. Su Jingxing did not change his appearance. Ever since he came to the southwest, he had become a yellow-faced burly man and took on the alias, Li Jing. At this moment, he had not used his full strength when he attacked. Even though there was a 99% chance that the young woman was his savior, Su Jingxing would always hold back before he was 100% sure. "Uncle, you're awake." In the silence, the young woman was the first to speak. She looked at Su Jingxing with joy and surprise. "How many days are there until the martial sages meeting on Giant Shark Island?" Su Jingxing responded with another question. "Huh?" The young woman was stunned. Then she thought of something and replied, "It's tomorrow." "Tomorrow?" Su Jingxing nodded and continued, "Did you save me?" Su Jingxing ignored the others and looked at the young woman. "Well, not really. My elder brother and I just saw you fall down the mountain and fall into a coma. Then, we brought you home. By the way, my name is Lu Xinyan. My brother is Lu Xinchen," introduced the young woman. "Uncle, are you alright?" "Alright? He hit one of ours, he's dead meat." A bald burly man chimed in with a sinister smile. "I thought he was bold enough to come here to buy something. Turns out that you siblings had saved AB** starred who doesn't what's good for." Before he could finish his sentence. Pack. Another crisp sound reverberated through the supermarket. The bald man was sent flying out of the supermarket and landed on the street. His limbs were bent and he passed out from the pain immediately. He had fainted, and his entire face had turned into a pig's head. His mouth was full of blood, and his teeth were all over the ground. The supermarket fell into silence again. Compared to the buzz-cut man, the bald man's tragic state was even more shocking. No one saw Su Jingxing take action, but the bald burly man was sent flying. The slap threw him 10 meters out. His limbs were bent and he fainted on the spot. What realm was this martial artist in? An expert. No matter what grade he was in, he was an expert. At this moment, Lu Xinyan was dumbfounded. The remaining 5 men were also left agape and terrified. The people in the shops on the left and right and opposite were all stunned silent. A furious shout broke the silence. "Stop! You be **stards, get out!" A muscular young man dashed down the street. He looked furious as he shouted angrily at the 5 people at the entrance of the supermarket. "**Ned be **stards, if you dare to touch my sister, even if I die, I will." His words trailed off. This young man who ran over was a little dumbfounded. He looked at the bald burly man lying on the ground, then at the buzz-cut man. Finally, he turned around and his gaze landed on Su Jingxing. He was bewildered. What's going on with them? "Brother, uncle is awake." Lu Xinyan came back to her senses and said excitedly, "These 2 people were knocked out by uncle." Is he really a martial arts expert?" The young man, Lu Xinchen, looked at Su Jingxing and blurted out subconsciously. As soon as he finished speaking, he suddenly realized what he had said and lowered his head to look away. Lu Xinyan blushed as well, not daring to look at Su Jingxing again. Their reaction clearly told Su Jingxing that they had a motive for saving him. He fell down the mountain yet he did not sustain any injuries, and his body was still faintly glowing. He was most likely a martial arts expert. Saving a martial arts expert would definitely pay handsomely. Of course, if Su Jingxing was a wanted criminal, Lu Xinyan and her brother might get implicated if they saved him. However, such matters were filled with luck to begin with. Whether it was a blessing or a curse, both had an equal chance. Especially with the trouble they were currently in, it was worth a gamble. From the looks of it, they had won the bet. Su Jingxing took in their reactions, but he wasn't angry. It was even better if he had a motive for saving him. Glancing at the remaining 5 fellows who were so frightened that they were frozen, Su Jingxing asked calmly, "Do you owe them a lot of money?" "Why yes." Lu Xinyan swallowed and replied, "Mas. Master 9 tricked my father and got him addicted to gambling. In less than a week, he lost $5 million. My father couldn't take it anymore and committed suicide by jumping off a building. Master 9 wants us to repay the debt, and he wanted this supermarket as well. The deadline is a month. If we can't repay the money within a month. Lu Xinyan did not finish her sentence, but everyone knew what the consequences would be. The supermarket being taken away was secondary. The problem was whether the siblings could continue to live in good condition. This was also why Lu Xinyan and her brother decided to take a gamble when they saw Su Jingxing falling down the mountain without any injuries on their way back from the functional town where they went to borrow money from relatives. Master 9 was a local despot and was quite powerful. He was in the 7th grade. Su Jingxing's realm was clearly way above the 7th grade. If Su Jingxing was willing to help, then the trouble Master 9 had given them would no longer be trouble. On this point, the Lu siblings were filled with anxiety. Su Jingxing remained calm and said coolly, $5 million great dollars, is it? I'll pay for it for you. Huh? Lu Xincheng opened his mouth wide and stuttered happily, really? Of course. Su Jingxing said calmly, it's a fact that you saved me. I'll help you resolve your troubles and we'll call it even afterward. But what is it? Feel free to speak, said Lu Xincheng quickly. As long as we can do it, we will definitely do our best. Brother. Shut up. Lu Xincheng reached out and interrupted Lu Xinyan. Seeing this, Su Jingxing smiled. Don't be nervous. I don't have any other conditions. I just want to tell you that I can also help you guys take care of that Master 9. Pay off the $5 million or take care of Master 9. Which one do you choose?